Oh yeah, here we go. Mexico. What's going on? Thought I'd jump on here. I've actually shot a couple of videos, but I didn't really cover much. They were more for just me personally in terms of the thoughts that I was having whilst being in Mexico. But I wanted to shoot this video because I've now locked myself in a room with a laptop for over a month, and the lessons and the experience I've had has been nothing short of phenomenal. So I wanted to walk you guys through exactly what I've learned, what I've done, what have achieved, and really break everything down. So first of all, it's been an amazing month here. Playa del Carmen in Mexico is what a destination, what a spot to be able to have the ocean, to be able to have the gym, the infrastructure to actually set yourself up to have nothing but success is quite phenomenal. So I highly rate this in terms of being able to work in the US time zone and pretty much have everything that you need to be successful. I rate this close to a 10 out of 10. So super cool. And what I've been doing in the past month has actually been growing a team, multiple sales teams, but one really doubling down on one in particular. And since joining the team, we were able to double the client's revenue, or not even double their revenue, double the client's profit. Okay, so in January, they profited about 50 to 60,000, around that number. I think it was about lower to 50s. And then in February, myself, the team came in and we were able to double that client's revenue in a matter of 30 days or 28 days, if you will, because February is a very short month. So he actually profited 110,000, I think 110 and 90, $990 or something like that. Okay, so I want to break down the lessons I've learned about myself in this video. I also want to break down exactly how I took that sales team, or how I took that offer to double the profit margins in one single month. So let's do it. All right, there's a little introduction. I wanted to sit down on the computer and obviously walk through a few things. I was actually going to have a bit of a presentation or go through a couple of visual things, but I just thought I'd discuss exactly what I've learned. Most importantly, about how to be a successful leader, how to be a successful operator. Now, when I say operator, I don't just mean like a growth operator or something like that, but an operator is an individual that leads a team, an individual that runs a company or anything like that. Okay, so operator, I think, gets thrown around in this space a little bit now. I look at an operator as a leader, an individual that runs a lot of different things. Okay, so first of all, the biggest thing and the biggest lesson I have is how powerful self-isolation is, how powerful silence is. I've harped on this for a little while now in terms of, if you're feeling a little bit lost, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not sure what direction I want to go in, I could pursue this or I could pursue that, a bit of shiny object, lady in the red dress syndrome. If you're feeling that, which is extremely common this day and age because of this, okay, the only way and the only thing that you need to do is isolate yourself and sit in extreme silence, or have moments of pure silence throughout your day consistently, to be able to get clear on the exact direction that you want to head in. Okay, now, living completely solo, okay, in a country that doesn't speak your language, or more importantly, I don't speak their language, you end up finding yourself in a lot of silence. So you get really clear in the mind. Initially, it can feel very scary. Initially, you can feel more lost than found, because you're detached from social media, or you're detached from, seeing or getting all these dopamine hits. But the biggest thing that you need to do in your career, no matter what industry, no matter what the fuck you're doing, is find silence and listen to the mind, so that you then can pursue exactly what you want to pursue. Okay. That's number one. That's something I want to touch on. Number two, the biggest lesson I've learned is that everything in life stems from the top of the food chain. Okay. Now, how do I mean by that? Well, let's look at it and use it as a business sense, or in a business example. Okay. So you may have a done for you service, or a team come in and completely take, let's say I'm the offer owner, I'm the company owner. You may have a team come in and take completely everything off your plate, to the point where all you really have to do is maybe shoot some content or shoot some ads. okay? And you can lean out and you can think, wow, this is so easy, it's so amazing, okay? Something I've experienced in the past 6 weeks is working for an individual very similar to that, okay? That's had the company I work with, okay, come in and completely do everything for them, a done for you operation, okay? However, you cannot hide from the fact that everything stems from the top, and everything inside of your business is a pure reflection of yourself. Okay, which takes me to the point of everything in your life is a pure reflection of yourself. Okay, if you don't commit to yourself, if you don't communicate strongly to yourself, if you don't move with speed in your life, how do you expect other people around you to do the same? Or how do you expect your business or your company to grow as well? Okay, so important to get clear on the mission through silence, but then understand that everything stems from here. Everything stems from the top. You can work with as many individuals as you want, or you can work with whatever individuals that you want. If they aren't higher level and they don't commit to themselves and they don't commit to their business, no matter how much fucking dragging through the mud you can do, they will not be able to get to where you want to go. Okay, so it's so important to be able to look and find those individuals that are aligned with you or that are serious about growing their business, because otherwise you're going to have this dead fucking weight on your back trying to pull the literal business owner or the literal offer owner through the pain of growing a business. And it's painful enough already growing a business with a committed individual. Growing a business with a non-committed individual is like fucking trying to walk through quicksand when you weigh 400 kilos. Okay, it's just impossible. You're just going to sink instantly. Okay, I don't know if that was a great analogy, but anyway. So that's a couple of things I've really learned over the past 6 weeks. Another point I really wanted to touch on, and I was going to pull up some notes for this one, so bear with me. Actually, stuff the notes. Another one I want to touch on is the perspective and the lens or the frame that you look at life. So a great mentor of mine, Cole, shout out to you if you listen to this, he gave me this amazing sales kind of framework or sales analogy or sales training, I guess you could say, around how to change the prospect's lens, how to change the way that they look at the world, how to change the frame and everything, the way that they look at it, the perspective that they look at their situation from, okay? We had a really, really amazing training session around this. I've then taken this training session to my sales team and said, hey, we need to be able to change the lens. We need to be able to change the frame of the prospect and how they're looking at what we're trying to do, okay? Because otherwise they're never going to change it. If they view the same problem from the same lens, it's always going to be a problem, okay? But if you turn their perspective around or allow them to almost see it from a bird's eye point of view or change the frame that they're looking at the situation from, you can start to change their actions, okay? And the actions that they take, or you can change their beliefs on the situation. And then once you change the beliefs, you can change the actions that they take. Okay. Now that's a great sales training. That's a great sales lesson, okay, to be able to implement on your prospects. It's actually an even more powerful lesson when you implement it on your own life. Okay. Now, how I mean by this is you should always try and observe yourself from a third person. You should always try and really see, okay, what lens, what perspective, what frame am I looking at this from? And once you get to a certain skill set, or once you get deep enough and you start to experiment it and you use this on yourself, it's like everything becomes a game, right? It's quite amazing. Everything quite literally becomes this game where you can just change the lens. You can change the perspective of what's happening to you, of what you're going through, okay? Personally, right now, I'm maybe going through some shit, let's just say, okay? Let's just label it shit. Okay, if I look at it from this lens, from this perspective of fuck this is shit, all the bad things, which you quite possibly and very easily could. Okay, what am I going to achieve from that? Nothing. Okay, I'm going to put myself in a bit of a hole. I'm going to hate my job. I'm going to hate my day-to-day routine, etc. Okay, now if I shift that lens, and I had a lens shift this morning from another mentor of mine that I spoke to, and I looked at it from, wow, what can I learn from this? What experiences can I take away from this? Maybe I'm not doing something that I truly want to do, but at least I'm finding out things that I don't want to do. Okay, I change my lens. I take my glasses off and look at it from that perspective. Okay, it's fucking phenomenal. The different levels of input you can have. Okay, the different things that you can realize that you can control. Okay, because if I'm consistently looking at it as like, it's shit, I'm going to be drained, I'm not going to be energetic, I'm going to resent it. Okay, if I look at it as, okay, I'm learning a lot about what I don't want to do, I'm also learning about a lot of what I can implement and what I can do in the future to be able to avoid this shit. Okay, you're going to be excited because everything I do, and now every day and every hour that I'm awake, I'm learning more about what I don't want to do. And that way, when you eliminate all the things that you don't want to do, you're left with the only option or options of only what you want to do. Okay. So you're actually getting closer and closer and closer to exactly what you want to do. Okay. Because you're eliminating everything else that you don't want to do. So the three biggest lessons, and the reason I know I started this with how did I take the client that I'm working with, how did I double his profit in a month? Well, there's obviously different things involved in that, in terms of strategy, in terms of the sales team, in terms of leads, ads, etc. There's multiple different factors in that. Okay, more than happy, and if you guys want, drop peanut butter in the comments. I'm addicted to peanut butter at the moment. I've been eating a jar a week. That's crazy. Anyway, drop the word peanut butter in the comments and I can do a training. I don't think I'm ever going to get a comment, peanut butter. I can do a training around exactly how I literally double the profit of this business, okay? But the three things, and they actually tie into the business, okay? So silence, number one, hold on, excuse me. So silence, obviously number one, the biggest one, okay? Working with individuals or leveling up individuals or leveling up their commitment to their role and understanding that everything stems from the top. Okay, so if you're a sales manager and you want your team to perform, if you're not performing, if your life isn't dialed, how the fuck do you expect your sales team's life to be dialed? Okay, as a sales manager, if the operator or the owner's life isn't dialed and they're moving with speed and commitment, how do I expect to move with clarity and speed and commitment? You can't. Okay, so understanding everything stems from the top of the food chain. You put yourself at the top of the food chain, you can control everything. Okay, so silence, understand that. Okay, understand that and work with individuals that move with speed, move with commitment, that are serious and seriously aligned with what you want to achieve. Okay, number two. And number three is obviously what I just spoke about. And the way that you can implement this into your team is making sure that your team has pure silence, making sure they do find themselves. Okay, making sure your team is committed and you show that commitment. And then the third and final thing when I speak about the lens is changing your sales team's lens and perspective of how they look at their job, how they look at their role, how they look at what they're doing. Okay, and by doing those three things in your own individual life, number one, allows you to fucking kill every single task in front of you. And then installing those three key points into other individuals' life allows them to absolutely destroy everything in their path as well. Okay, so they're the three biggest lessons I've learned from locking myself in a room in Mexico for the past 4 weeks, I would say. Well, maybe 3.5 weeks, so about a month. And they're also the lessons that I installed into my team to be able to double our clients' profit in one single month. So if this is valuable, let me know. If you want a training around the specifics of how I installed those lessons or how I doubled the sales team's input in a matter of months, drop the word below and we can go from there, guys. So I look forward to speaking to you soon. It's been amazing to jump back on here and do a training or do a video. It's go time, baby. Let's fucking rip it.